Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the upcoming TV series produced and written by Jon Favreau. Now, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. You probably know this guy even if you don't recognize the name. He's the guy that plays Happy Hogan in Iron Man. He's also the director of one of the best Marvel movies out there, and that was Iron Man 1. That was the movie that really set off the entire Marvel universe. And really fascinating that he is going to be the producer of this film. So for those of you who don't know what a producer does, specifically, they're the ones that say yay or nay when it comes to a certain number of aspects. They're the one that hire the director. They're the one that hires the writers. They give final approval for a lot of different aspects of a film. And granted, Kathleen Kennedy is still the head of Disney, the Hydra behind the monsters that we've gotten so far. But what's interesting about this is Jon Favreau, he is arguably one of the better directors for this type of film. Now, what I'm really excited about is he's not doing a film, he's doing a TV series. Now, this series is set to launch, or it's set to stream from the new Disney platform that is set to go live in 2019, which means even if it airs or if it goes live at the end of 2019, that means Jon Favreau will start writing and directing and putting stuff together right now. If he doesn't already have a script or an idea for a script in place, I'd be shocked. But what I'm thinking that we are probably going to see fruits of this new product sometime in the next 6 months would be my guess. Maybe not film, maybe not, this is what's going on, but we'll probably start to hear actors' names. We'll probably start to hear pitch ideas. We'll probably start to hear a number of different things. In fact, we've already heard a number of different things. Disney put in for patents sometime at the end of last year for a series or for a product or something called, or something around the title, The Resistance, or just Resistance. Now, this specifically does have to do with Star Wars. Obviously, Resistance is relating to the later half of the New Republic, right? For those of you who don't know, Leia Organa was the one who did start the Resistance, and it wasn't an official offshoot of the New Republic. The New Republic didn't have its own army, didn't have a standing army. They were afraid of what happened to the Old Republic, that they were afraid that would happen to the New Republic. And so Leia was worried, concerned. She began her own militarization of essentially the rebellious factions. The rebels who took part in the Rebel Alliance essentially took part in the Resistance. Now, what this means, what this indicates, I don't necessarily know. A lot of people have been claiming that this new Resistance stuff, because a lot of the patents have revolved around kids' toys and school supplies and things like that, they're saying that this must indicate, this must mean that it's, oh, this is going to be a cartoon, or this is going to be something to that effect. And I think that's a red herring. I think that that is not where this is going. I mean, if you look at anything Star Wars related, they're going to have kids' toys, they're going to have cartoons, or they're going to have school supplies and random crap like that, lunch boxes. I mean, kids aren't the only people who use Star Wars lunch boxes. I gotta say, collectors like myself, I have a couple of Star Wars lunch boxes. I'm just saying that, like, that's not necessarily an indication of what this is for. Now, this is on the Disney, this is going to be on the Disney streaming platform, which doesn't necessarily give us a lot of information as to what the series will look like. I do think this is going to be very ABC, very, it'll have its dark moments, it'll have its light side moments, but I don't think that we're going to see something like what we will see from the Game of Thrones directors, producers, D.B. Weiss, and I think, what's the other name? David Binoff. I think that show, those movies that are going to be coming out, they're going to be a lot darker than this Jon Favreau movie. Now, if you look at the direction that they've kind of taken some of the, if you look at the direction that they've taken Episode 8, there was a lot of people who said it was too Marvel. It was too silly at times. And while there's definitely a lot of silliness in episode 8, and a lot of silliness, I mean, I remember laughing the whole time through episode 8, which didn't make it necessarily feel like a Star Wars movie, and that was a huge complaint by a lot of people. I think Jon Favreau can fit directly into that that motif, into that type of filmmaking. I mean, he has directed a number of these Star Wars films, and I think he has done a great job. I mean, arguably, the best Marvel film is Iron Man 1. It is the one that got everything going. It is the film that got the ball moving. If Iron Man 1 was a standalone film, it would have been great. As a trilogy, it is the best of the trilogy. It is a great film, and I'm curious to know how Jon Favreau is going to move into this. Now, again, I do think that we're going to start seeing fruits of his work sometime in the next 6 months. I think it's likely that we will see an announcement, a specific and official announcement at the Disney Expo sometime later this summer. I think we're going to see names of actors pop up. I think we're going to see scripts leaked. I think we're going to see a lot of information coming in the next couple of months. I personally would love to see a story that followed the crew of the book series Aftermath. I would personally love to see a bit of information that followed or that led up to the story that really episode 7 begins. A galaxy at peace. You know, the remnants of the Empire are still around. The First Order is starting to become a threat. There's something coming through there. I would love to see how that goes, how that sets up. And I would love to learn more about the events that take place in and around Snaps Wexley. For those of you who read the Aftermath books, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is probably one of the best series. It is the best trilogy, I think, so far in the new canon. Now, I do think it is the only trilogy in the new canon, so that makes it easy. Doesn't have a whole lot of competition, but still valuable, and would be a really fun look at how the conflict between the First Order and the New Republic and the Resistance really takes shape. I think that'd be really cool. Now, the reason I think that this is the case is because Jon Favreau is not a dark director. He's not someone who throws a lot of danger in his films. There's obviously danger, there's obviously suspense, but it's always fun, it's always lighthearted, it's always entertaining. And with this type of film, I think, or with this type of TV series, I think that what we're going to get is, like I said earlier, very ABC, very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but with maybe a little more freedom, a little more, because this is not going to be a primetime TV show, this is going to be a streaming service. He will be open to make it a little more edgy, I think, than we've seen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, that being said, again, it's the Resistance time period, where the beginning of the Resistance, the construction of the Resistance, would be a perfect area for him to focus his TV show in, because it has enough piece that you can get a lot more backstory, but enough going on beneath the surface that there's still that intrigue, there's still that suspense that builds. It's very, in my mind, I think it'll be very reminiscent of the prequels, with just enough danger, or more danger than that. I don't know, that's just what I'm speculating. I don't think that we'll see anything for the Old Republic and the Old Republic. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think David Benioff and D.B. Weiss will do something with the Old Republic. If anyone can bring justice to that era of the Star Wars universe, it is those two. It is the guys that brought us Game of Thrones. I mean, look at the elegance and the brutality of Game of Thrones. Give those men that story. Give those men that era, because that is phenomenal. And please let us see our first rated R Star Wars movie. It probably won't happen, especially not with this early in it. But man, if anyone could take a time period and make it just dark and make it so incredibly ominous and cool, it would be those two. It would be the guys that brought us Game of Thrones, because man, That would be awesome. Now, I am excited about what's coming up. I think we are going to learn more about just everything in the coming weeks and months. And what do you guys think? What type of series would you love to see Jon Favreau direct? How am I saying his name wrong? Because I'm pretty sure that I am. What do you hope this series will look like? And what do you think is going to be on the Disney streaming service? I'm hoping more than just the Disney cartoons. Although, gotta say, I love them. They're fun. Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. And as always, my friends, stay nerdy.